Hi, my name's Dan, and this video is the first in a short series of videos that I'm doing about designing resources and resource management aspects in video games, which is part of a larger collection of videos which are about game design and what a game designer needs to think about with various details in games design, which in turn is part of a channel that I've got on game development and game development related stuff. Okay, so resources, as I said, so I'm basically we're going to kind of look at money-like things. So, but the concepts and the management of these things applies quite widely. So we're going to start with answering this question is of what is a resource. So in my mind, a resource that you're managing in a game is something that you can potentially that you can count. So you might have one or more than one of them. Something you can gain and something you can spend. So the player has a kind of flow in and flow out of resources, and then the gameplay comes from managing that resource. Uh, Another option is items that are destroyed when used. So one example of that would be some form of treasure map that once you found the treasure, the map itself disappears. That in itself is some kind of resource, and it has some similarities. Items that are depleted when used. So sometimes you'll have items that you'll have several uses out of them, and then once you've had that limited number of uses, they disappear. Okay, so that also could be thought of as a resource. The reason I'm not giving a lot in the way of examples is because actually now I'm going to talk about examples. So money is the classic one. A lot of games have some kind of money involved, some kind of currency, and as you can obviously think about that, fits the bill here in that it's something that you can count. You can say how much you've got. You can the player can gain it and the player can use it. And managing how you use your money and how you go about creating ways of gaining money is what a lot of games is about. Seeds is another example. For example, in farming type games, you quite often have the ability um, to plant seeds, which will then grow into crops, which you then can harvest, and in turn, the harvesting can give you more seeds. But there's some kind of bountiful multiplication thing going on so that you can sell as well. Otherwise, you just go around in circles, and that feels pointless. Crafting materials, so wood, cloth, coal, iron, those sorts of things that you can, if you've got a crafting system in your game, um, they're obviously a resource. Cards, so I'm thinking about games like Magic the Gathering, uh, of either physical game or computer ports of it. Then you have these things that you have cards in your hand, cards you can play, and the important thing in terms of it being a resource is you can choose when to play these cards, and the timing and the targeting potentially uh, is managing a resource. Minecraft tools, so in fact any kind of tool or weapon that has a durability on it, where the durability can wear out and the tool can disappear, it could be thought of as a resource, although the flow in and out is possibly much slower than with some other things. Minecraft is all about resources and managing these uh, the materials and the items that you get. Health potions, they're a fairly straightforward one. You can buy, gain, make health potions, and then you use them usually in combat to give you a boost to health. Health and mana themselves, or any kind of action points system, kind of like a special case of resources. They often regenerate on their own account, not always. So your sources in can be automatic, but health can be seen as a resource that you gamble with in some ways, or you spend in combat to get defeat the enemies, and then for some other result drops, which then become resources again. So the more you start thinking about resources, the more you start to see that actually lots of different mechanics in games can fit this kind of bill of resources, and a lot of the things that you do as a player become transactions of turning one resource into another resource, or um, something like that. Things that are not a resource, so they don't work in the same way. Um, XP, experience points, and you can gain them, but you can't spend them. Shiny stars. So I'm thinking about Mario games, the kind of 3D platforming games where you succeed in a challenge and you get a shiny star, and getting more shiny stars gives you access to more stuff or more areas, but you're not spending them. You're gaining them, and then you've got an accumulative score of them. So they don't act in the same way. Anything you can gain and keep, I think, in my head, is not a resource in the same way that these other things are. Um, so uh, in the rest of this series, we're going to be concentrating on more on currency-like resources. I've mentioned quite a few different types of things here, and as we go through, we will be focusing quite a bit on, particularly on in-game money and economies, and we'll do some stuff about real-world economies and uh, all sorts of things. In the next video, I'm going to be doing a bit more details about gaining and losing resources. But yeah, come back and watch some of the rest of these videos in this series. And yeah, I'm going to finish with a screenshot from one of my favourite resource management games, which is Factorio, which is not just about creating and making things with your resources, but also about transporting them, which is lots of fun with your conveyor belts. Anyway, that's a digression, and that's it from me for now.